Hello everybody, this is your girl Slick Vic. Welcome to Peace, Toast, and Jam. So let me start out by saying I apologize for last week where I didn't have a podcast episode because here in Tampa, Florida, we got hit crazy hard with Hurricane Milton. And Tuesday was the day before that it actually hit. It came Wednesday evening into Thursday morning, and we were just doing all the last things for preparation for the hurricane, and it just got a little crazy. And I had every intention, believe it or not, to still do some sort of podcast episode. But when we were preparing, I put my laptop, which is where I record my episode on, away, and we put everything that was on the ground in this little room on top of the beds and just stored away. And I was like, oh my gosh, where did I put my laptop? Because I put it up high. Long story short, these sound like a lot of excuses. I understand that. But that is the reason why I didn't do the podcast, because I was like, well, I don't have my recording equipment, whatnot, and we're just going to have to wait. And I think the world would understand, being that it was a pretty big natural disaster here. So anyways, I apologize. Thank you all for your patience on this new episode. And, obviously we made it safe out of it. So thank goodness. It was my first ever big time high category hurricane that I've experienced here in Florida since moving here. Because I'm a new Floridian. I'm probably not even a Floridian still. I mean, I'm not one who's like, oh yeah, the moment I move somewhere, I'm like, woohoo, I'm part of the crew. It's so strange because I still see myself as an Ohioan, because that's obviously where I've always lived. But since I am in Florida and this was my first time, I guess I'm a first time Floridian for having a Cat 4, Cat 5 hurricane hit. Actually, so it was a Cat 5 hurricane in the Gulf and whatnot. And then once it got here, I think it reduced to a Cat 3. I may not be correct. I don't know. But I definitely came way down. Thank goodness. Because otherwise we would have scoot, boot, and buggied out of here. And yes, we were in zone A and we were supposed to get out of here, but we didn't. And everyone else evacuated around here except for us. And if you haven't been following my Instagram specifically, my TikTok had it too, but specifically my Instagram had the whole thing of what was going on with the hurricane. So, all right, now on to the subject that I've been really wanting to dive into, which is, if you guys know me, I'm really big into energy work. I am a Reiki practitioner, Reiki master. I'm also I've done yoga certifications, so I am a certified teacher in yoga. I'm a big believer in the spiritual world, and so with all that being said, I'm into energy work. I believe in energy. Everything is energy. And I love to just go down crazy rabbit holes and understanding how can we use energy more? How can we, how can we just learn more about it so that we can utilize it more in a productive and healthy way? And so a big thing that is a trending topic, I feel like it's kind of just popped up over the last couple of years, is feminine energy. And I feel like a lot of individuals, when they hear that, they think of if you're a male, they're like, oh gosh, I don't want to have any kind of feminine energy. I don't want it. And for women, they're probably like, oh, I just need to be like a sponge for feminine energy. And so I kind of wanted to talk about it. We're going to do some basic Google definitions on it and just allow whatever happens as far as the conversation goes. When I say the conversation, I mean it's just me talking. So whatever just kind of happens and flows with it, we're going to talk about it. And I specifically didn't look up any of the information yet. So this will all be on the spot, spontaneous, me looking it up, giving my intuitive feedback, if you will, on it, my own experiences, and hopefully we can just unravel to a point of, oh, this is what feminine energy is, and this is how we can utilize it to better our world and our life. And I will say, if you are a male and you're already oh, I don't want to listen to this could be something you'd want to listen to, because I believe feminine and masculine energy is good for both male and females. And if you're I really don't care about that for myself, this is a really cool way to understand feminine energy for the women in your life. Whether it be relationship or not, doesn't matter. It could be sibling, parent, co-workers, etc. I think the more that we know about this, the more that we can just have more tools in our tool belt, as I usually say, and just, knowledge is power at the end of it. So the more that we know about certain topics, the more that we can just grow and use that education, that knowledge to help us out in the future. Because you never know when you might need to know about feminine energy. But before I get started on that, please, if you haven't followed me already, please hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel, which is Slick Vic. Obviously, if you're already following me on my socials, that'd be awesome to just share this on any of your socials, share it through email, etc. But you can find me at Slick Vic BA, B as in boy, A as in apple, on TikTok, Instagram. I'm on Threads, X, all that kind of stuff. But please share, because I'm really trying to grow this. And yeah, without further ado, let's do it. Okay, so when I Googled feminine energy, this is what came up. And this is through the AI portion, which I've been kind of digging the AI, what they say, only because it seems like they're giving pretty good, like well-rounded definitions for things. But we can go a little bit deeper into actual like cited sources if you would like. Okay, so the first one said, feminine energy is a spiritual force that's associated with traits like empathy, compassion, and introspection. It's also said to be connected to positive qualities like creativity, good communication skills, and high self-esteem. Well, that's kind of cool. So I can see where a male just kind of listening to this or reading this could be like, ooh, like that sounds super soft and very characteristic of females or women, and maybe I don't want to be, associated with that. But let me just remind you that being well-rounded and balanced, and a male to have those kind of qualities is chef's kiss. It's amazing to be well-rounded. So I think it's really important that men tap into this. That's my own personal opinion, just before even going into more detail about this. But here are some characteristics of feminine energy. Intuitive. Okay, so feminine energy is intuitive and empathic, and it's represented by the right side of the brain. Creative. Feminine energy is creative and inspiring, and it appreciates beauty. It's nurturing. So this energy is nurturing and supportive, like a loving mother. Okay, and I would like to say that there are some loving fathers out there too. Obviously there's a lot of single dads out there. There are a lot of widowers, and just to say that motherly love is the only love is discounting a lot of parents and guardians out there. So just and individuals that are males that are really important male figures in little ones' lives in particular. So I like that. You can also do that, you can be a strong but also loving father, but a loving mother. Receptive. Feminine energy is receptive and oriented towards receiving and allowing. So being open, and then also I would say being open to receive, as in take in, so you're not like stubborn and this is the only way. And then allowing would be to like let go, maybe be a little bit more vulnerable, and to just be a little bit more open in general, in all areas. I said open a lot, I apologize, but yeah, open. Dynamic. So this energy is flowing and dynamic, and its movements cannot be predicted. That's kind of cool. Cannot be predicted. So maybe they're just more organic. I like that. And grounded and being present. Ooh, I love that. So feminine energy is grounded and being present, enjoying every moment and connecting with yourself and others. Some say that when feminine and masculine energies are balanced, okay, here we go. People experience a greater sense of harmony and fulfillment. Drop the mic. Yes. Okay, so this is where I was hoping I'd get to. And again, I have not read this until right now. I am such a firm believer in being coming from a well-balanced background, diet, lifestyle, if you will. If you're always like go, so strong all the time, you're gonna beat yourself into the ground. It's not gonna be good. If you're obviously like super lenient and everything just goes, and like maybe tomorrow, like there's no discipline, that's also too crazy on the other side of the spectrum, right? So being kind of in the middle, being able to dabble in both sides, being able to let things, just go off your shoulder, like, oh, I didn't really get the hardest workout today, but there's always tomorrow, and I will actually do tomorrow. I'm gonna, make sure my alarm clock goes off and you get it done is great, and not just saying like I have to work out like 8 hours a day, it's the only way, blah, blah. Like that was just an example off the cuff, if you will. But being balanced is so important. Same thing with lifestyle and with diet. If you're work, and you're always just like eating little snacks on the go, and they're just like high in carbs and no protein or good fats or something like that, obviously your body could run on it for so long, but after a while it's kind of like putting like junky gas in your car versus like middle grade, or, you know, sometimes splurging in the premium. There's so many things that we can do where we don't have to be 100% in one thing all the time, that can really just take the pressure off of always having to be perfect or always one way, and being just a little bit more flowy with things, you know. But the balance part is what I really love, because I both feminine and masculine individuals, both masculine and feminine energy, both male and females, I believe we're meant to bring out the best in each other, and we're also there to fill in the gaps where maybe it's just like, oh, like this is just not my thing, or I could use a little bit more of this, and we're able to help each other. But when we're always so stubborn and thinking like, I got to do it all, or I have to do it all this one way, and we're not open to the other side of things, that's where we have a lot of conflict. And I believe that's where the male and female clash happens. Or I don't ever want to be more feminine, I don't ever want to be more masculine, where it's like, let me just explore and do a little bit of both. So the balance part is what I was hoping we get to, and it's like we're 11 minutes in, we already got there, which I'm super happy about. Let's see, some ways to activate your feminine energies, because now we've talked about it. People listening or watching this right now obviously could be like, ooh, this sounds good. Okay, yep, I want to bring in more feminine energy. So how can I do it? It says you can bring in more feminine energy and activate it by developing creative hobbies like painting, writing poetry, or inventing something new. So developing creative hobbies is one way that you can be more, you could bring in more feminine energy and activate it. Another way is to be spending time in reflection, such as taking a few minutes each day to tune in, or journaling. So it kind of goes back to the grounding. I love this. I absolutely love this. And I'm specifically loving this for the women that are hyper independent. We have a lot of, I feel like we had a big wave of women entrepreneurs and independent women that just came through in the last, I would say, even decade, if you will. And then we, of course, have the males that feel as though they need to just do everything all the time. Whether, you know, you are the breadwinner of the house, you are the main person bringing in the finance, and you feel like you have to keep the structure going. But being able to tap into this creative energy is only going to help your already hyper masculine side, or hyper go kind of energy that you have already attained and you're obviously very successful in and very productive in. But it's good, again, to have that balance. I love this. I absolutely love this. Okay, so kind of going on about what is meant by feminine energy, because obviously I've given some definitions, but another one said, and this is from dictionary.com, feminine energy is often described as an invisible energetic force that is related to traits such as compassion and empathy that have been stereotypically associated with women. Okay, and the term feminine energy has been used since at least the 1990s. That's an interesting little fact, because I was wondering while reading this, like, it seems like feminine energy has been around for a long time, but perhaps, you know, obviously from dictionary.com, that the 90s kind of brought it out, which was like, oh, I wonder what big phase happened there that brought out more of more energy work, more talking about energy. Because I think with anything, it's almost like, what is it, cyclical, like, or things will just keep popping up. Like, it's almost like trends, if you will, like flare jeans, or I don't even know, like certain kinds of shoes, or just whatever looks will be in for like an era, and then, like, I don't know, 70 years later, it's hot again. You're like, how? What? But I feel like that's what we do. So the whole energy work, I feel like we're in that phase in the last, probably since the pandemic, right? So since COVID happened, I think a lot of people have gone and they've been more introspective, right? They're going inward. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of mental things of like the not being able to talk to friends and family or to interact with individuals. And so it was forcing a lot of individuals to obviously stay home and learn about themselves. A lot of people found out, like, oh my gosh, like I got a lot of things going on mentally and physically and emotionally that I was completely just distracting myself from because of the busyness of life and friends and family and routines and whatnot. And it was like, whew, man, I might be depressed, or I might have ADHD, I never knew, or oh my gosh, like I'm in a relationship that is like not doing so hot and I need to put more time and effort into it. Or maybe this is the time for me to get out of one, or oh my gosh, like why am I even doing what I'm doing? What is the point of life? And why are we busting our butt for, and I can go down a whole rabbit hole of that, right? But with all this being said, I believe we're in a time where energy and talking about everything spiritual, if you will, is really trendy, but not even trendy anymore. I think it's just a lot of people are waking up to what's going on in the world, and they're like, I don't know if I want to, be a part of all that. I think I kind of like over here a little bit better. And what I'm talking about over here is like, I think I like just learning about myself and learning about, what can I do with the gifts that I have inside of me? And do I have to be a slave to a 9-to-5 every day or not? So anyways, kind of going off, I get a little squirrely, as you know, but I like that meaning of feminine energy there. And let's see what else is here. How do I know if I'm in my feminine energy? That's kind of cool. Okay, so this is from LinkedIn. It says, feminine energies have the qualities of softness, receptivity, and expansiveness. These qualities draw on intuition and tapping into those things that aren't necessarily seen with the naked eye. Okay, so we talk about a lot of intuition and tapping into that. Seeing beyond what is there and somehow knowing. Feminine energy is about being rather than doing. Ooh, I love that. I think that's the last thing that we're gonna quote today. Okay, so we'll end with that. But feminine energy is about being rather than doing. Being rather than doing. So again, being present, talking about the now, not about what do we need to do, what do we need to go do, what do we need to do. It's like, no, let's just be. Let's talk about now. Let's be real about now. Okay, I think another thing is about feminine energy. Obviously, it's about being very empathic, empathetic, really just tuning into our intuition, and really tapping into the softness. But I really want to say that if you hear the word softness or empathy, being empathetic, that does not mean that you're weak. And this is very important, because I think a lot of men specifically don't like to hear this, because they're like, oh gosh, I heard softness. Not me. Absolutely not. And to be honest, my male friends, that's where you're dropping the ball. That's where you're missing out on so much in life, because tapping into that soft side of you is a big part of who you are. I mean, think about when you were a baby, dudes, okay? You just didn't come out saying like, yeah, I need to like rule the world and conquer and go wrestle a bull and I don't know, like eat a turkey stick for every meal, even though I love turkey, like when I'm saying turkey stick, I'm thinking like those medieval ones, you know what I'm saying? Like delicious. It has nothing to really do with being male or anything, but I was just trying to think of something like primal. But anyways, point being that we all had the soft side as well, whether you were born a male or a female, doesn't matter. And so when we get to certain ages, stereotypically speaking and traditionally speaking, I think a lot of times the men are told, oh, you got to be really strong, you can't cry, you got to do this, you got to be tough. And the women, oh yeah, don't do any of those things, just be soft and be quiet and listen and just obey, whatever. It's like, what? And these are just old traditional styles that have carried over. And maybe it kind of worked for some, but I'm telling you right now, I bet you any money that the relationships that last, that were super loving, the women may have been more on a submissive side and the male could have been more on the dominant side to the viewer's eye and what they even say. But they both had their times in that relationship throughout the years, throughout the anniversaries, throughout the children and the hardships and the ups and downs of their life, where they both tapped into both sides when need be. Now, do most men want to be a certain way and most women want to be a certain way? Sure, perhaps, maybe. I can't, I don't have any kind of percentages in front of me to say like, yeah, well, according to my research. But that doesn't mean that that's how they are 100% of the time. In fact, I would say that would be a lack of being human. I think being human is being able to tap into all emotions and being just present in it and feeling it and learning how to control some emotions and learning what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And when certain things are meant to be more exposed or less exposed, when you can be really vulnerable and open, when you perhaps should not be as vulnerable. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about relationships, because when we're talking about being soft, a lot of men don't want to be soft. They see that as a vulnerability. Okay, cool. Then make sure that you're soft with the right individuals, or make sure that you're a level of softness that you're still soft, but you're not just giving away all of who you are to the wrong people, because some people will take advantage of you. That's 100% what's going to happen. And the next breath, though, if people do take advantage of you, know that it's not forever and it's temporary, and it doesn't mean that you can never be vulnerable again. You can never tap into that softness. You can never tap into the feminine energy. You see where I'm going with all this? So I really enjoyed this. I hope you did too. I know that was like a very tip of the iceberg, just breaking into feminine energy, and maybe, we'll go into masculine energy if that's something in which you want to hear about, or, just talk more about, which I think would be kind of cool, because I want to go more on the masculine side as well, because again, it's the balance. We need to hear about both. So yes, but if you felt like this was helpful, please, like I said before, please share this, whether it's, through email, through sharing it on your socials, YouTube, etc. The more that we get this out here, the more that I get exposed, and hopefully we can keep growing this community and whatnot. I do have a Patreon, my friends, that if you wanted to support me in any way or be a part of my community, just go to my website, www.slickvic.com, or in any of my socials, there's a link in my bio, a Lincoln tree, and it'll take you to the Patreon page. You can support me monthly. There's 3 different tiers, or if you just want to be a part of the community and just, join in, I do have a free Facebook group, which I would love for you to join in as well. It's Slick Vic Vibes. You can join the group for free and then obviously chime in as much as you want or as little as you want. You could just be an observer. But with that, also get ready for the full moon, because it's happening this week. It's the Hunter's full moon, so I'm excited about that. Make sure you're getting everything ready to let go and just get ready for a full new lunar cycle. So pumped about that every month. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this feminine energy talk. Again, if you want to hear more about masculine energy or more about feminine energy, we can dive deeper. And with that, I hope you guys have a beautiful morning, a lovely afternoon, and a wonderful evening whenever you listen to this. I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.